Hey, what's up, guys? It's these Manico. So, so Black Clover chapter recently came out, and people are very, very perturbed at the recent going-ons. And originally, the video I was gonna make was gonna be about those recent going-ons, but while I was kind of going and mulling in my head how to do that video on the chapter, I kind of ran into a weird realization that people may or may not be noticing. So I'm gonna, and as you see from the title, you already know what it's about, but I'm gonna explain my reasoning, and we're gonna move on into that. I might address the chapter stuff later, but for right now, this to me was way more interesting just because of the implications and what people may or may not be saying. Now, granted, this is still like theory crafting because it hasn't been confirmed, but and because of how the elf reincarnation magic worked, so it's not like 100%. But I have a sneaking suspicion I'm at least in the right direction. So let's have the conversation. So in the recent chapter, among everything else that was going on, we got to see Lumire's final goodbye. He's primarily talking to Sekre or Nero, depending on which name you want to call her. And he mentions how at least he's happy that his ancestors, his future descendants, are doing well. And when he does this, we get a panel of Mimosa and Noel. Some people may be confused by that in general. Why is Mimosa and Noel in the frame? Because they're not related. Well, they are related. They're cousins. Another thing people may not realize is that they're also related to Leopold. Because remember, Mimosa's last name is Vermilion. And so is the Leon family. They're all from the Vermilion household. But to give some context and to explain why I wouldn't have also referenced someone like Leopold or Merleona or Fugolion, is that it's kind of been stated that Noel and Mimosa are like first cousins. Meaning Noel's mom and Mimosa's mom are related. They're probably sisters. Actually, they have to be sisters for them to be cousins. So they are blood related. Whereas Noel and Leopold aren't related because Mimosa's father and probably Leopold and Merleona and Fugolion's father are brothers. Meaning the fathers are the correlating people in their family. So Mimosa shares the same father as Leopold, shares the same family, shares the same bloodline as Leopold due to their fathers, and Noel and Mimosa share the same family connection due to their mothers being sisters. So in a sense, Noel and Leopold are also related because they're not like blood related because of the father connection with Mimosa and not the mother connection that Mimosa and Noel have together. So they're like, I guess I would call them like second cousins. I think that's also the reason why like Merleona and like I forget her mother's name is like Alcier or something along those lines. And that's probably why they were kind of close because they're technically in the same family, but it was more so like the Vermilions kind of like married into it. But then people would go, what about the name difference? Well, here's the thing. Usually in marriage, the wife ends up taking the husband's last name. So if Noel's dad was the Silva, that means Noel's mom's last name is only Silva through marriage. And the same thing is important. Same thing would go for Mimosa's mom, where Mimosa's mom's maiden name isn't Vermilion. The dad is the Vermilion. Hence why also the Lion siblings are also Vermilions. Because it was the father who usually puts on the last name and you get your dad's last name. Now the reason why I bring all this up and why this is important is this was actually foreshadowed a while ago. Remember when Raya got hurt and Mimosa was healing him and Raya was like, no, I don't need any help from some stinking human. And she was like, I don't give a fuck if you're elf or not. We're all people. You deserve to be healed just as much as anyone else. And for a minute, he saw Tetia, which was supposed to be Lich's wife and mother of his child. That makes way more sense now why he saw her in Mimosa, because they're technically related. She is the Mimosa and Noel are the descendants, but it also means the descendant isn't from the Silva or Vermilion household. It's from whatever maiden name both Mimosa mom and Noel's mom share. It's from that household. That's the household that Tetia's lineage goes through. And so someone would go, well, how does this relate to Yuno? Well, remember, we found out a few chapters ago, it was confirmed that the elfin spirit that was inside of Yuno was the reincarnated child of Tetia and Lit. Meaning, he's also a part of that bloodline in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what to degree, and I don't think it's by the same, like, direct line, but he's definitely related. So my thought process is that if your son, who is the byproduct of you and Tetia, that means you're at least half related to Tetia, which tells me either there's another aunt floating around who was probably the mother of Yuno, and the problem is we don't know we don't know the family name of Noel and Mimosa's mothers, because we never know their real last name. Silva is the married name and Vermilion is the married name. We don't know what the real last name is of that bloodline, and that's the bloodline I bet he's connected to. Now, once again, it could be a situation where it is with Mimosa and Noel, where maybe that woman had a different type of interaction that didn't lead to him being included in the family household. See, the thing is, we don't know nothing about that generation, like Noel's mom's generation. We don't know anything about most of those adults. That's where the history lies with Yuno. That's where his parental history is. But I would bet money he's probably at least a cousin to Noel and Mimosa. But whoever she got with, there's probably another sister floating around, and whoever she got with, or brother, it doesn't really matter which. But there's probably another family in that same generation that, like, Yuno it comes from. So I actually would bet money, I'm calling it now, I think Yuno is probably Noel and Mimosa's cousin. But we don't know the details because we still don't know anything about his parents. But I'm betting money the fact that Lich's and Tetia's child was reborn inside of Yuno tells me there's something there. But the problem is there's still the question of who passed down the genes, because Lumiere died. He could have smashed before that, but Lumiere was pretty much sealed for the rest of the time, and Tetia died during the elf massacre, so her son was never born, and up to our knowledge, that was the only child. The only way that bloodline continued is if there was a third sibling, or maybe their parent had another child who then had other kids. There's more to this history. I would not deny that more than likely Tabata's going to bring this up later. There's probably another child. There's another part of the family that has not been addressed, which might lean into some shit with why some of the elves are still here. There's more to this line. Even though the elf arc is over, quote unquote, I would bet money there is more to that bloodline we don't know. Because why would Yuno? Because the only reason why Mimosa was never possessed is because Tetia wasn't an elf. Elf reincarnation only works on elves, and Tetia wasn't an elf. That's why her son was reincarnated, but not her unborn child, man or woman. I'm assuming man since Yuno's a guy. Her unborn son was never reincarnated. Was only reincarnated because he was half elf. Tetia it wouldn't have worked with Tetia because Tetia was never elven. So there's another part of this bloodline. But if I'm gonna bet money, I think that would explain why he seems to be so fucking lucky and has all this great magical power. You're a fucking descendant from the Wizard King line. Of course you do. And you're part elf, or you have elven history or something along those lines. Like, that's why Yuno is so blessed with magic, because he comes from two broken-ass households. He comes from a long line of powerful elves and a long line of fucking well-off, noble fucking Wizard King family. That explains it all. The problem now is we don't know there's more to that story. I 100% believe there is more to the Wizard King story, and there's probably a hidden sibling or a hidden family line in his family that we don't know about. I would bet money because I don't. The reason why, but once again, the reason why this is theory is because the reincarnation magic isn't like straight out bloodline confirmation. It's more like they share some sort of connection, and we don't know what that connection is, but they share some sort of connection, and that's what's interesting. The other thing I want to quickly bring up is that more than likely Charlotte has a brother we don't know about because I forget the elven version of her, but when she goes, "Oh, I wish I could have seen my little brother," and I'm like, "Little brother? Little brother? Who the hell was your little brother?" I think that's a hint that Charlotte has a little brother we don't know about, or maybe Charlotte doesn't know about. I don't fucking know. There's a bunch of shit we still don't know yet, but I just want to bring that up because I feel like people didn't bring it up, and I was like, "Yo, the fact that Elf Charlotte said she had a brother." Usually that correlates to modern times. So that means Charlotte probably has a brother that we don't know about. Wonder if that's going to get addressed soon. Or if that'll be a part of the next arc or something. But I would say right now, I currently bet that Yuno is related to Noelle and Mimosa. And it's a part of that family line name that we don't know. We don't know the name because Noelle's mom married into the Silva household. And Mimosa's mom married into the Vermilion household. If we ever hear Noelle or Mimosa talk about another aunt or even uncle, because it doesn't matter which household, I actually would bet uncle more than likely. But if whatever that family line is, that top branch, that's where the secrets are at. But right now, I'm gonna bet that he's probably a part of that family line. I'd be curious. That's the thing that's where most of the mysteries are at right now. We don't know that family interaction line. We haven't even met like Mira Leona's parents. Mira Leona Fuguleon's and Leopold's parents yet. Those are the characters that are going to have the most shit to add into the plot because I think it's their lines that brings everything together. But right now, that's my bet. I believe Yuno is more likely related to Noelle and Mimosa, and it's a part of that hidden bloodline whose name keeps getting wiped away because it was the girls who married into the other families, Silva and Vermilion, which are not the real main family. That main family that is a direct line, and we also don't know if there's a third sibling between Tetia and Lumiere. There's got to be someone because Tetia died and Lumiere was sealed. There's either the mother had another child, something's going on. There's got to be another child in my opinion, or Lumiere smashed someone super early and didn't tell anybody. There's something there, but that is my theory crafting. I'm going to just throw that out there. And when it becomes relevant and later on in the plot, come back to this video and check. But that's my theory. That Yuno is the cousin at the very least. Cousin or sibling of Noelle and Mimosa. But please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys for the support. This has been the Insane Game Freak Schizomaniac. And remember, you're not having any fun if you're not going just a little bit crazy. Life's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace! Oh! I'm gonna break my neck with how forceful I did that.